Boom.
Oh, Spool, you should have fucked it up. Come on,
I'm not a dick.
Yeah, you are.
You guys nailed it.
You are what you eat. A boo! Implying penis.
Sweet dicks.
I'm impressed. So welcome to the Inside Gaming Podcast, episode 34 for November 20th, 2014.
1982.
1982. Spool!
Time traveling.
Spool.
Yep.
I gotta think of a good question for you.
The mic's way over here.
Hello, Lawrence.
Hello, Spool. Spool, what subject did you do the best at in school?
History, Lawrence. I love the history.
Hey, high
It's
five
like a
you.
game show.
What's your favorite time period or subject in history?
Greek history, Lawrence.
I'm with Spool on this one.
And or Roman.
Great.
Romans.
What's your favorite Greek god and why?
Apollo, because he gets the bitches.
What?
Well,
he does?
Zeus got
yeah,
infinite
Zeus
more
gets
bitches
a
than
bitch.
Apollo.
The most bitches.
Zeus always had to pretend he was somebody else.
You know what I like
Yeah.
about Zeus?
fair.
Zeus is like, that's a fucking hot queen. I'm gonna fuck that
You go ahead
queen.
and have sex
And
with her.
but then he transforms into an eagle and then has sex with her.
Swan.
It's like, wait, hold on.
But yes.
Smart. Yes, he did.
Today's Instant Gaming Podcast is brought to you by NatureBox. NatureBox is fine purveyors of wholesome, good-for-you snacks. If you'd like to have a free sampler box of NatureBox's 5 most popular snacks, go to naturebox.com/inside for free food. It's a pretty easy sell. Doesn't take much. Moving on.
Wait, hold on.
preface.
How the hell did you get to that segue?
What? It wasn't.
There is no
the same
segue.
way at all.
Greek history to Nature Box?
Wasn't a segue at all.
It wasn't?
Ninja box.
How
Okay.
did you...
So
box never
at this point, I feel like it's important to explain to everyone we're recording this after the Smash Brothers drunk gameplay, so it's gonna be a little more
You'll
raucous.
also
Here.
notice a slight discrepancy between certain people who have gotten really drunk
are
and
super
other
drunk.
people who have not.
Grab that bottle, James.
Luckily
There's a
for
wire
you,
on that.
your
I
MC
was
is not.
not
super
gonna
drunk.
grab the
He
bottle.
wants to show how much we
Shut up, everybody. Discussion topic.
Go on.
First discussion topic
Shut up,
is
everybody.
the COO of Double Fine, Justin Bailey. Yes, that is his real name. Described at.
Is he the Justin Bailey?
You know, that's a band, right? That's a punk band. That my friend was
Really?
They're named after the code from Metroid.
in. I know.
But
Riley?
is it the Justin Bailey?
There's only one.
Metroid?
What?
I don't know.
Who are you referring to?
The guy who won the contest to get his name into Metroid.
No, I don't think it's named after that. I think it's just a different guy.
Continue.
So that's
it.
interesting because I thought it was named after Justin Bailey, which is slang for underwear. At any rate, and I said my phrase.
Maybe it is. Who knows?
Continue.
Double Fine COO Justin Bailey presented a list of factors that had an appreciable effect on the company's sales. This was at an event. The Montreal International Games Summit, and this was on November
Love that
11th. He basically presented a list of things that work for game sales and the things that don't work for game sales. In what works, he listed Let's Play videos, Steam free weekends, and cross promotion with other developers. In what doesn't work, he listed free app of the day type promos, trade shows, and Metacritic. So essentially, he's saying that E3 and written reviews don't really correlate with strong game sales. He says, "quote We've basically seen Metacritic all but become obsolete right now. We get obsessed with it. Other developers get obsessed with it. The press gets obsessed with it, but it really doesn't matter as far as the sales of the game are concerned." So, do written reviews not matter anymore? The numbers
Well-
that everyone goes insane about apparently don't actually matter to the sales of the game.
Real quick, I mean, I'm sure he's making valid points, and I agree with him on basically everything. But is Double Fine the best studio to stand out and say this is what sells games?
That's an important point to bring up. Yes.
I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love them, but
Half their games nowadays are Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's true.
Sweet
true.
burn.
I would like to
that
see
means.
EA's numbers or Ubisoft's numbers to find out if reviews actually do have an appreciable effect on sales. That said, I agree with Double Fine. For a long time, for a couple of years now, we've been saying reviews and games journalism, whatever, is going away if it ever existed at all. So I think that they have an excellent point, and sadly or not sadly for us, I guess, the infotainment stuff that we do is kind of becoming the norm. It's becoming what people watch and listen to, if they watch and listen to anything at all.
I mean, the big
Right.
thing is it's a video game. It used to be easy when it was like 5 levels, like this was the game, to break it down and say, yes, this is worth your time, or no, this isn't worth your time.
Yeah.
But we have games like GTA, we have games like Far Cry that are massive, and some people will get different experiences out of it. So why would you want to trust this random person's opinion if it's a group, and this is assuming that you like us,
Right.
right? But if it's a group of people that play games and seem to share opinions that you share, it makes more sense that you would want to see what they feel about the game to determine how you do it.
Well,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think a lot of people nowadays look at more of like the group score. Like on Metacritic, you look at the user or like the player rating more than like the actual critics rating as like a way.
Well,
Which
sometimes,
they're
but that's
obviously very
sometimes that's
different.
totally skewed because they're like,
Well,
oh,
yeah.
a patch broke the game, 1 out of 10 or
Or
whatever.
like like the EA ending
what was
of,
the-
or
what-
Mass Effect 3's ending.
Corey in the House, the Corey in the House game
Right.
for the Nintendo Advance.
We get people tweeting us who are like,
in '96.
Why is Corey in the house on the DS doing better than Destiny? And we're like, because
But I do think more people look at those things
Yeah.
seriously versus like critics.
well, it's the Yelp Syndrome. It's the sort of thing of like, I'm not going to eat at this restaurant unless it's got 4 stars or above.
Yep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not worth my time. Like people have that mentality.
Yeah.
Well, the way I see it is like kind of like Rotten Tomatoes, where I mean, like again, Rotten Tomatoes is the only objective basis we have for movies. I mean, like you put all the critics together and they score them versus fresh or not fresh. I think it's like 70% or 65% ends up being fresh or not fresh, and then from there you sort of have to go off all of those critics' opinions. Metacritic is the same way for games and television, things like that. But I guess with movies don't have individual YouTube channels that say, "Oh, I really like this category of movies," or "I really like this category of movies." Games has already broken into YouTube, and it's been in YouTube for a very long time. So we are sort of treading new ground, I think, when it comes to
Yeah.
video games and reviews.
Well, I think the point you're eventually going to get to, Lawrence, is that the reason why I like YouTube is that we've said this for a very long time. You can do any sort of video series online. You will eventually find an audience. Like there, believe it or not, the weird shit you're into, there's someone else out there who likes it.
Here's the thing. This is tying into Adam's point. We're kind of getting off track, but real quick, Elise, my wife, plays Dungeons and Dragons over at GameTrailers.com.
Nerd.
Right? They do it as a series, right?
Well, out of all the people to say that,
And she also does a weekly news show. But we were out somewhere in Los Angeles, and some guy goes, "Oh my God, you're," and said Pervy, which is the name of her character.
Oh,
He was
okay,
like,
yeah.
"Oh my God, you're Pervy." He recognized her from that.
Cool.
And it's like that community is so strong. Like they've just been doing it consistently, and they found a strong community of people that want to watch others play Dungeons and Dragons, which is like, what? Okay, I didn't realize
10
that
people.
existed.
That doesn't exist for movies or
Right.
television reviews.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just saying that the evolution of, especially for games, has come down to so much of personal taste that you really have to like trust somebody. And like we've realized this, we figured this out really early on. I think this is the reason why we've adapted to YouTube so much. Is that like when you get a job doing this sort of thing, it's like so much of it is based on your personal opinion and the things that you're into. So that someone goes, okay, I align myself with what this guy or gal is into. And so if I say I like Far Cry 4, they're gonna like, well, I'm into most of the things that Adam's into, so I guess I would like Far Cry 4 as well. So whereas like I would just say like, look, if you're not into Far Cry 3, you wouldn't be into Far Cry 4. Like that's just kind of where we're at. Whereas Metacritic and all that stuff, they're grabbing from a large pool, and there's so many different voices, and it doesn't fucking matter anymore because at the end of the day, most of the people on PC go to Total Biscuit because they're like, I like Total Biscuit. I like what he says.
Ooh.
I like the words that he says. I like how he talks. And I'm into the things that he's into, so I'm going to trust what he says. Total Biscuit is way better than Metacritic, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's also very full of himself.
Especially if you have a history with him,
Spools,
like a
dropping
personal
bombs.
history that you're like, I've agreed with the last 20 things that he says.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess he's on the same page as me.
And it's a weird thing where we have become, people always yell at us and joke at us, or I mean, probably just yell at us. They're like, you're the Fox News of game journalism, but it's like, well, that's essentially what YouTube has become, is you will align yourself with the sort of people who reinforce your ideals.
yeah.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, with gaming, it's so subjective, and there's so many different options.
It has a negative connotation to it,
Yeah,
but
it
I
does.
think the major difference is we're talking about video games,
Yeah.
an optional
It's
form
just
of,
a game. Not with
politics.
of purely
Yeah.
consumerist entertainment, and
Right.
not what's going on in the world, which does have objectiveness
And
to
it also affects your life, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I think you're getting at with like, is games journalism dying? Is that I don't think games journalism existed in the first place, and it's one of those things where games journalism has never affected your life. Like if you chose to, you could just choose to not play video games ever again, and you'd be fine. Everything would be totally fine. But when it comes to politics, or when it comes to, anything else that has to do with the world, it actually does affect your life. Small or large, it does. Yeah. And if there is corruption within that journalism, then I think you should probably be worried about it. Games journalism, there's tons of corruption. We just don't know about it, or sometimes we do know about it, and we look the other way. And again, it's just video games.
Well, it goes back to I obviously don't want to get on a Gamergate rant.
Yeah. Please don't talk about it.
No. But I'm saying, like, when people start going off of like ethics and game journalism, it's like, and going back to Total Biscuit, it's like Total Biscuit has way more influence than Polygon, GameSpot, and 10 other websites combined. So when you talk about ethics and game journalism and all that sort of stuff, that's where it's at. Like, that's the future right there. It's YouTube. And when you're like, is game journalism dying? It's like, no, it's evolving.
Yeah.
As it should.
Yeah. The takeaway that I kind of get from this and what I've witnessed coming from the written side to the video side is that games media is changing. And it's changing right now because YouTube allows people to vote with their eyes more than they ever could before. This self-imposed idea of journalism never really evolved because they asked the readers or the gamers what they wanted. It was more like the content creators saying, this is what we want to put out. And they put out a magazine, and it was the only magazine on the shelf, so you bought it and read it.
Of course.
But now that there's thousands of people making videos every day on YouTube, the audience is showing what they want to see based on the view counts. You can see that in 24 hours, how many people watch a video and how many people don't. So we're starting to see that this kind of scholastic approach to games criticism is not that popular because nobody's watching those videos. And the more fun, relaxed, friendly approach is actually working because it's content people want to consume. So it's interesting to me that after 15 years of one kind of media production, now we have a chance to finally see what people want to watch, and it's shifting to this other thing. So whenever people talk about ethics, I think they're using that as a word to say, I've been consuming content that I don't want to consume for a long time because there's been no other choice.
Yeah.
And now there is a choice, and people are choosing the other thing in droves. And instead of realizing that it's just an invisible hand thing, it's like, no, all the people that were putting out this dogmatic, scholastic type book report type content, I don't like that. And I'm mad at it, and I want it to go away.
Well, no one likes being talked down to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everyone likes their convictions reinforced.
I think a big thing too is part of games media. Games media is I would say 90% responsible for the problem that they're in now, because they've presented themselves as some sort of authority on something that requires no authority.
Yeah.
Why do you think that you know better whether or not I will like Castle Crashers? What gives you that right? I've played probably just as much video games as any other. I'm speaking in the hypothetical situation of a viewer or a reader. I've played just as many video games as you have as someone who's paid to do it. So why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
And I think the conversational tone of new games media is a lot more appealing because it's not telling you necessarily what to think and not saying we are an authority, we are the ones you should listen to, we are the ones you should take seriously. It's saying, thanks for stopping by, here's how we feel about topic A.
Well, that's the sort of thing, and that's kind of always been my sort of situation with the kind of crew we've developed here is you understand that this is a group of personalities. When you listen to the things I say, I'm a Halo fan, I like PC gaming. So it's you kind of align yourself with, if you don't like the things that I like, you probably shouldn't listen to my opinion.
Yeah.
You shouldn't care. If you do like the things that I like, then you go, oh, I'm similar to this guy. Like James. So James fucking loves Psychonauts.
I thought you were gonna say anime boobs.
Well,
or anime boobs.
And
So, at this point, Spool's into, Bruce is into, James is into, Lawrence is into, what I'm into. So you kind of get your different flavors. And you're like, okay, so if Lawrence really likes this game and I align myself with what Lawrence likes, I want to trust that review. If I don't like that guy, maybe I shouldn't just listen to him. And that's kind of the point where we're at.
Well, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I think because a lot of people have been asking what's the difference between video game journalism and movie journalism or television journalism? Well, movie journalism has been around for about 100 years, maybe even a little more, where people have been watching movies and reviewing movies for as long as they've been around. video games only have, what, maybe 25, 30 years total?
If that, yeah.
If that, of actual journalism. And like James said, a lot of the people that play video games and review them don't necessarily have any education on video games. It's just mainly they just played them.
They're the same as you and me.
So that's actually a huge pet peeve of mine, because when I was in junior high and high school, I was like, I'm gonna do this shit, and I need an education. I played all the fucking Ultima games, man, and that sucked. But so I when I was young, I kind of viewed it as my responsibility to understand the lineage of video games.
Yeah.
And you cannot believe what a shock it was for me to meet a lot of people who were on staff and like producing full reviews who had like played video games for like the past 4 years and just came into that role. And I'm like, so you haven't really played anything, and you have no understanding of video game history or video game design.
But they have like a journalism degree or
No,
something like that?
not even that. It's like you just
geez.
knew the right person,
Yeah.
and you
Lack
had beers
any
with the right
actual
person.
interest in the topic.
Exactly. So
I played Solitaire once.
I think
I have
it
a
really
job?
amounts, like if you take the power out of review, like it's just some guy who was in the right place at the right time and gets paid to write 1,500 words about a game, then it starts to make sense.
So
why
here's
the system falls
here's
apart.
a really scary thing about this, because I reviewed technology when I started in 2004 G4 Tech TV, and if I'm not going to name names, but a lot of the times when it comes to video games journalism, if they already had a previous bias towards a certain game, for example, I have a previous bias towards first-person shooters. I love first-person shooters. So for me, I'm not sitting there like being like, I want to review Battlefield 4, because I probably like Battlefield 4. I can remove myself from that equation. There are a lot of people that can't do that, and they have this previous bias towards a certain type of game, like a JRPG or whatever, and then, oh yeah, they like Final Fantasy 15. What a surprise. To me, that's the one thing, I guess, if anything, remove education, remove lineage of video games, remove all that other stuff, at least try and not have a bias. Just sit down, play the game, enjoy it or not.
Well,
Yeah.
And that's important to me. And I don't know if people do that. in
That's
video
the sort of thing that I've always. So like Lawrence will play Final Fantasy, the later incarnations. I'm not so much into that, but I will. So if Lawrence is like, oh, I really like the latest Final Fantasy, I'll go, well, it's not really my thing. But like going back to the whole thing I was saying before, if you align yourself with Lawrence, if you're like, I really enjoyed the last Final Fantasies, I'm going to trust this guy. Whereas if I play, I'm like, I'm not really into it. They're like, you're saying Final Fantasy sucks? It's like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's not my thing. You're going to the strip club, aren't you?
Yep, you bet.
All right,
Just
you're-
focus on your topic.
First
Adam.
person
man.
club.
What's up, bro?
Even a lot of like
Real quick, Spool, hold that for a second, because it's the perfect time, considering that he's going into a strip club, to mention that this podcast is sponsored by MeUndies. We'll get back to your comment in just a second, but MeUndies, most of the people here have tried MeUndies, and
Yes.
what do you guys think? Let's just throw it to the audience here.
I love my MeUndies. I genuinely do. There was a point where there was a possibility of going for a hike this weekend. It ended up not happening. But I was like, I showered the night before, and I was like, we're going to be leaving early tomorrow. I was like, I'm putting MeUndies on because I'm going to need them tomorrow. So that's the best compliment I can give.
I still haven't tried them. They're very stretchy
You can wear mine. You want to wear my MeUndies?
after you wash them.
Nope. They're gonna have the smell on them.
So I'm kind of a sad sack. I've owned like a lot of the same pairs of underwear for a few years. If there's holes in the bottom and like my balls are kind of hanging out, I will hold on to those for a couple of months, and I'm like, not until it's like a huge problem. So far, the MeUndies that I've owned, much better material, much thicker, much more comfortable than the current stash that I have of horribly torn pieces of crap. So actually, I need to like
You
re-up.
gotta update that underwear.
Yeah, your
wardrobe.
balls are hanging out. That's not underwear, bro.
I'm horrible at buying clothes. I wait till Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, so so don't wait till Christmas. If you want some delicate cloth cradling your junk right now, go to meundies.com/inside to get 20% off your first order. And that is applicable to the US and Canada. That's meundies.com/INSIDE inside. Free shipping to the US and Canada. Thank you, MeUndies, for sponsoring this podcast and doing all of our unmentionables a favor
Thanks, MeUndies.
with your delightful fabrics. All right, Spool, you had a point.
I was gonna say it seems like a lot of games journalism websites. I'm not gonna name any names, but a lot of times they hand out different game reviews based on like their past games that they enjoy, whether it's RPGs or RTSs or FPSs or anything like that, which kind of kind of messes with
It
reviews
does.
in a way, because
So-
that person's obviously biased towards
I've been there,
liking
man.
that
It's
type of
immediate.
game.
It's immediate bias.
It's
Which makes
so
sense that they would give it to them.
let's okay. So I've been there. I've been on a volunteer website.
Yes.
Here's the thing that shakes out, and it's totally understandable. Basically, on volunteer websites, you've got 20 people who put in a lot of time for free. And then on the off chance that any one of those websites gets a review copy of anything, it's a fucking red letter day.
Yeah.
And that review copy becomes a reward for somebody that has worked in a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And they say, all I want is to play this one game I'm very excited about. I've put in a lot of time. Please just let me review this. And then it becomes a reward for that person. And then lo and behold, the person who is most excited and has confirmation
They're
bias
biased towards it.
for a particular game reviews it, and then they give it a potentially higher score than they maybe should.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that that's bad.
No, I mean it's not necessarily like it's not intrinsically bad. It's just like that. Obviously,
Yeah,
you have
it's
to be
a
aware
factor.
that that's happening. That they're
Absolutely.
going to obviously give it a higher score.
Yes. So on the subject of scores, I feel like review scores are interesting because you're basically putting absolute value on a subjective product. On that note, recently GTA 5 re-released. You're seeing it right now. One of the more interesting things that I've always pondered is, since you review games and have a score, if you release the same game 5 years later, wouldn't it get the same score? Oh boy. But that's what's happening now. We're seeing a lot of re-releases. But what I want to bring up is this is actually emblematic of every generation console switch. Every time hardware refreshes, we see new hardware. We see re-releases of old games. Recent re-releases include games such like The Last of Us Remastered, Grand Theft Auto 5, Tomb Raider's Definitive Edition, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Metro Redux, Ratchet & Clank Remaster for PS4, Halo Master Chief Collection, Doom 3 BFG Edition, God of War Collection. We're seeing a lot of remasters, basically.
Yes. We are.
Is this bad? Stop staring at tits.
They're just staring at boobs.
Are main question.
Remasters.
Are remasters bad?
Are they bad? Are they good?
Well, no.
What do you guys feel
Well,
about them?
I think those are nice boots. It's optional, so go get your lap dance for the love of God,
going.
please. Thank you. You can do it in first person now. So,
it was always in first person.
I think only if it makes sense.
Whoa.
So
Holy shit. We have to blur that.
we have to, yeah.
Fuck me. Now I have to edit.
Yep. So,
Oh my gosh.
like Master Chief Collection, good example.
I gotta be honest, though, those textures are still
Too
lacking.
high def. Too high def.
No, it's
know.
not high def enough. You don't see the little bumps.
Careful with the touching. You gotta wait for
Oh,
the
yeah,
You don't see the
areola
areola bumps.
Yeah. So like Master Chief Collection,
Her
good
name's
example.
Peach.
Last of Us confused me because I was like,
Yeah.
really? You didn't do Uncharted before Last of Us? Like, what's the rush to get this one out? But you didn't do Uncharted at 60 frames a second? Like, very confused. So, but GTA, like we said today in our daily, I was like, this game needed a re-release. You're gonna get the fucking thrown out of this club
Yep.
so fast.
Let 'em
Can we
try.
H-gate this podcast or something? Like,
What's that?
can we H-gate so I don't have to blur all
You're gonna
this?
have to do a little bit of work. I'm sorry. Just blur the whole screen.
Just blur the top half of the screen.
Oh
I didn't
no!
want to go back here.
Oh, she's uninterested. Poor
James,
ugly
you're
Rihanna.
controlling.
Way to go,
They
James.
said to go back here. That's why I was just going to do the dance.
Regardless, I have no problems with re-releases if basically the market warrants it. So GTA made sense. We played the game and we're like, wow, this game looks really good on old hardware. This is how old is the Xbox 360 at this point?
7 years
8
old.
years
I wanna say.
old, something
Seven,
like that?
about 7, 2007.
Pretty
Or
old ass
5.
hardware.
Oh, 5?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes,
Yeah.
wait.
9 years.
Wait, no.
They said 10-year life cycle. Well, it was
Yeah.
Sony, but
Regardless, holy crap.
I'm gonna verify.
Old ass consoles. So
Nice. Good job.
we looked at the game and there were moments where we're like, wow, this game's got some really nice things going on for it, but it's on really old hardware. If only they could update it. If only. Same with Halo 4, where I was like, wow, Halo 4 looks amazing. Imagine this game at 60 frames a second. Here we are. So, like I said, only if it warrants it. Certain games, like, I don't think you're need to put Duck Dynasty on PS4,
Nope.
Xbox
Yeah,
One.
you do.
Doesn't make any sense. This is just sort of the climate we're in right now.
Sure.
Where
Well,
re-releases are kind of the
I-
new hot thing.
I've noticed a lot of old games showing up on PC now. Not necessarily like up-res that much, but they just pop up on there so the like original developers can make some kind of money.
Steam
off
ratcheted back their like necessities for being on Steam a whole deal.
Exactly. So you get games like Chaser or Chrome, or like old
Wait,
games,
hold on. What are you saying?
old
What's
games
wrong
that
with Chaser?
No one has a right to play anymore. But like they show up on there and they don't have HD releases, but they're up there for money. Like people have to pay for these old, like arguably shitty games that are back.
Yeah, but you can
on
get
there.
Chaser for like $5 on a Steam sale.
That's
or something like
$5
that.
too many, Adam.
Well, I'm saying like, GTA came out a year ago, and they're already re-releasing it.
Yeah.
In like higher res. But thank the Lord they did like enough updates like this first-person mode that I'm like, in my opinion, I'm like, look, if you didn't play it already, it's worth picking it up. If you already played through it, if you were a fan of it, there's other places that'll do trade-in values and sort of things like that. Like, figure it out, but you don't have to necessarily play through the game. But I'm having a good time. So
I look forward to it on PC.
Yes. so
you
do
gotta
I.
wait a month, unfortunately.
At least.
So owing
yeah,
owing
2
to the
months,
fact that
jeez.
I played all the fucking Ultimas, I'm gonna weigh in and say this is part and parcel with video game history. Every time new hardware comes out, every software developer sees it as an opportunity to re-release something they've already made. Super Mario AllStars.
Our star.
It's starting to hit me. All right.
This is wasted.
Super Mario All-Stars. Mega Man: The Wily Wars, which is something nobody remembers.
Nope.
But even most recently,
words.
Mega Man, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes,
Yeah, that was
which is
a long
actually
time ago.
a bit of a meaty remake, featuring the choreographer of Versus,
It's a good day.
which nobody remembers.
I
Also-
remember the cutscenes in that game being ridiculous.
Yeah.
and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah,
'Cause
there's
the
a
original Metal
Japanese
Gear Solid was like one of my favorite games of all time.
there's a Japanese choreographer
Yeah.
who did all the cutscenes for that game. They're
Right,
they're
and the game
awesome.
was done by Silicon Knights, who have since been stupid.
imploded.
Yeah,
And then like Okami HD, like this stuff happens every time hardware cycle generates. We're just in that phase right now. And I can excuse a lot of people given that the last hardware phase was so long. This is the first hardware transition they've seen, and all of these re-releases may seem like a new deal. It's not. This is all par for the course. And they're getting stoned and watching TV.
In a video game.
Yeah.
Bruce just said this is a good day.
But Spoola, you brought up an interesting idea earlier in the day. You mentioned that people will buy the same game on multiple platforms for convenience.
I did bring that up.
Could you elaborate on that?
I find it really funny that nowadays in the digital age that you can't like just have a serial number or like a game code that you're basically buying and then you can unlock it on every
No,
console.
there's money to be made.
Where,
Spool.
where
God, no.
nowadays
Come
I,
on,
I have
man.
friends who will buy it on PS4, the same game on PS4, Steam, maybe Xbox One or like Xbox 360 or something like that.
Jeez.
It's like you already paid for the game once, the exact same game. Why are you paying for it on multiple consoles? Like it doesn't make sense. To me. That's the
Well,
thing.
sometimes it does make sense. So like Destiny, I bought
Oh,
on
geez.
Xbox One and I bought on PS4.
Yeah, I bought it twice too.
Because I have friends who are on Xbox who don't have a PlayStation, friends who have a PlayStation who don't have an Xbox. So I was like, I don't want to be that guy who's like, sorry, bro, can't play with you. I was like, fuck it, I'll just buy the game twice. And I've played it way more on PS4 than I have on Xbox One. But if that opportunity ever comes up where they're like, hey, come play with me, I don't got to be that dick.
But in the ideal world, like with the digital age, you should be able to like buy it once and have it on multiple consoles. Like when Portal 2 came out with Valve, you could buy it on Steam or on
Oh, gosh.
PS4, and you would have it on both consoles.
you
could play it on
you really
Steam
can't compare
or
it.
PS4.
Yeah, exactly.
Valve is like so awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
I was
do
gonna
you-
say, Valve's the only person that.
Well, do you know
Why
what?
can't- why
Do you know
can't
what I
we
did
have
when that
EA
happened?
Activision?
I bought it on PS3. I sold the PS3 copy and redeemed the PC code right away.
You know what? You know what?
You sold? You got rid of your PS code? Or your?
No, I sold the PS3 physical copy because you can play it on the PS3. It had its value. I took the code, redeemed it on PC. I got Portal 2 for like $5.
I mean, they can figure out ways of like locking them
We're
down.
right.
So that you can do
Well,
that.
you're actually you're hitting on a very interesting topic, which will become more and more pertinent in the next 5 years, which is that games are transitioning from a product to a service.
Yeah.
Which is that you're not paying to own the game; you're paying to play the game.
Well, one of the major reasons I've made a conscious decision in the last several years to switch to PC gaming is because, for the most part, those are games that I'll have in perpetuity, for the foreseeable future at least. Whereas I'm looking at like all my Xbox 360 games and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do with
You have to trade them into GameSpot.
I want to free up space.
The minute-
but I get nothing from GameSpot.
The minute Master Chief Collection came out and GTA came out, I unplugged my 360 and I packed it up.
Yeah.
I'm either giving it to a friend or I'm giving it away. Like,
See,
I'm going to sell it. Like,
but I still have
couldn't
Dragon Ball
wait.
Z Battle of Z to play.
Fuck it. I could not wait. I mean, actually, here, reach behind you, Spool.
Oh yeah, all the 4 PS3.
Here's my fucking PS3 that I don't care about anymore. My Twisted Metal thing that I won at
Cool.
E3.
We're selling it for $1,000.
I won this at a Twisted Metal contest.
You realize just now you distanced yourself from the entire
regardless,
audience.
I got a free PS3. Actually, this replaced my fat.
I can't wait for all the tweets asking us to
it.
send that PS3 to them for free.
No, that thing's
$1
worth,
million.
It's worth $1 million at least.
Well, hold on. We have to add some perspective to this because we are much different than most people.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
we
They don't
are.
have a PS3 floating around. They
Thank
don't
you,
have a
Bruce.
360 floating around.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to sort of add because, like, for example, we have a 360 and an Xbox One at home, hooked up, ready to go. Nobody has that. Everybody's waiting for the 360 probably in the next year or two. They'll sell the 360 or turn it in or whatever, and then buy an Xbox One.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the normal life cycle for consoles.
Yeah, but I would
say.
argue that there's a lot of people who are similar to us that cannot wait for the new stuff, and the minute it's available, they go buy it.
Yeah.
So I mean, not everyone's
Well, yeah,
like that.
they're our
Obviously.
age for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you have
People
a
with
job.
actual incomes.
Yeah.
You have an income. You have a full time job. You're willing to spend your own money. You don't have kids, similar to all of us. Wait,
Woo!
Spool might have
Spool's
kids.
got a couple kids.
I hope
Yeah,
not.
he's probably banged a few sluts, and they're just little.
They're
spoiled.
nice ladies.
That's what you said when you first stuck it in them. Regardless, I'm saying there are people who are like, I want the newest thing, and they just like can't wait to get rid of their old crap. I mean, look, we're like fucking freaking out over the Lollipop update for Android. We're like, oh, it's new. There are people who like new things,
Yeah.
and they want the newest, greatest, fun thing. That's why we're freaking playing GTA on PS4, because now it's like, if anyone were to ask us, like, can you play on 360? I'm like, God no.
Want me to stab myself?
You were
Is that what
asking me to go back to the N64.
From what I've seen, though, like a lot of our viewers, like Katie Bacon and Turbid, and all those guys are sort of like, which system are you going to play it on? Because they only have enough money to buy it on one system.
Yeah.
And they may not even have enough money to buy that system. So, like, yes,
PC.
the older guy. Gosh, the older guys
That's even
that
worse.
The older guys that we are, yes, we are able to buy one or two systems. But a lot of people 16, 17, 18 years old. When I was 16 or 17, 18, I bought the Nintendo 64, and that's what I played for 5 years.
That's pretty lucky.
That was, and I bought it off some kid that was like, I'll sell it to you for $150. And I was like, that's a fucking ripoff. And I gave him $150, and I was like, fucking asshole.
I mean, how much did it sell for when that thing first came out? Like $600?
Well, it was pretty expensive.
Yeah,
It's
it was
really
a lot.
expensive.
Games were expensive.
And that's $90s.
I waited like 4
ridiculous.
years for that thing to go down in price before I bought it.
I ended up having to borrow it from a friend when the PS2 was popular, so I could play Ocarina of Time.
Yep.
I traded my Sega Genesis and all the games in for just the N64
Yep.
console.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
No, I'm coming from a place where I grew up not owning anything. I was not allowed to play video games. I was banned from video games. So I'm very much happy with what I have now, where I'm like, I go home, I have a Wii U, I have a PS4, I have an Xbox One, I have a PC ready to go. And people are like, you're fucking spoiled. It's like, no, I earned this. I fought for this. My mom bought a PlayStation 2 only to take it away from me.
Aha!
That was my life.
Trick.
What?
Well, we bought
tricked
it.
you.
We bought it as a DVD player. I tricked her into getting it. I'm like, yeah, it plays DVDs, and all I was doing was playing Kingdom Hearts on it. She's like,
Oh my
your grades
gosh.
are suffering. We
I
need
would
to
have
take
taken
this
it away
away.
from you too.
Yeah, no. My
Also,
son gay.
hey, judge thee who throws the stone or
I didn't
whatever.
play
There you
Kingdom
go.
Hearts. So, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, boy, that Alice in Wonderland level was a son of a bitch.
Too much vodka. That was in high school. Whatever.
Well,
That's even worse.
Kingdom Hearts is a good enough segue enough to say that this episode of the Instant Gaming Podcast is sponsored by Crunchyroll.
Hey,
yeah, whatever.
that's a great segue.
Yeah, that is a good segue.
Because Kingdom Hearts is anime, and that's what they offer you.
More or less, yeah.
So for Crunchyroll, it's only $7 a month for their unlimited anime subscription. We also offer a 30-day free trial if you go to crunchyroll.com/inside. So the last time we had a particular Crunchyroll insert, I made my appeal to those that steal anime chronically, and they let me know their particular grievances with Crunchyroll in the comments. So I'm going to appeal directly to you. It doesn't matter. pay for Crunchyroll and steal anime. You can do both. Just support
I thought
the industry that produces the content you want to
Yeah.
watch, right? Like, nobody cares if you don't pay money. That's the real world.
I thought Crunchyroll was mostly free.
It can be.
Yeah,
But they
I
also
watch
have a-
stuff on there for free.
Yeah.
They have a
that's cool.
they have an unlimited anime subscription. And
Well,
that's what
I
we
think
would like.
I think the stance most of us have always taken is like, you can't stop piracy. It's always going to happen. But for the love of God, support the things that you like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love this sort of industry we live in, where it's like you can literally vote with your dollar. And so it's like there's so many different options out there, but like, if you like something, pay for it and show that you like it. That's the number one way to show you support. It's like, like and favorite, that doesn't really do much. Money is the ultimate way of saying yes or no.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm talking directly to you, person who posts on a lot of image message boards. Please, like, just pay for some small part of what you consume in this world. And I'm not trying to lecture. I'm just trying to say, if you don't pay for what you consume, no one cares about your opinion. And if you want to have a voice in America, pay for what you consume.
There's also a pretty
Yeah.
good chance that what you consume will go away if someone doesn't pay for it.
Fucking right,
Yep.
man. Like, what kind of weird world do you live in where you think something will just continue to be made if no one pays to buy it? All the people that make that thing have to go home and buy food for themselves and their family and pay for their rent and pay for their water and electricity. And if they're not making money off of what they're making, they're not going to make it anymore. They're going to go to something else. They're going to make pipes or concrete blocks or whatever.
Pipes.
Bananas.
That's
I'm
how
gonna pirate those pipes.
Lawrence, I like when you get passionate.
Man. I'm
Women
just-
love when you
All
get
true.
passionate.
Yeah.
Men love when you get passionate.
Everybody loves it. That's
Hey.
why I drink a lot. At any rate, that is my phrase again.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Go to crunchyroll.com/inside for a free 30-day trial. Because I know you don't like to pay for
Might need to
things,
do that.
but please just try it for 30 days. You can cancel online. You don't have to call an aggravating support number like I had to do recently for an unnamed service.
All right.
But go to crunchyroll.com/INSIDE, free 30-day trial. That's twice as long as you would get normally. And we encourage you to subscribe to their $7 a month unlimited anime subscription because anime is awesome.
I like anime.
We're big
I
fans.
also
over
like
here.
You
anime.
should watch Fate Zero.
Bruce and I watched Evangelion 3.33
So awesome.
on a plane ride.
So good.
Bruce being one of the more bro-y guys I know, like kind of like.
I'm not even like the
True.
word. I'm not even close to bro.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm
He's
saying.
just more.
As far as the people I know,
This is the guy
Bruce
that
is
talks
most-
about recruiting a gang of bros to go and beat up nerds that he
I would never do that.
But Bruce and I watching Evangelion 3.33 and him looking at me being like, Asuka, like, jumping out of a freaking Ava, like, in the stratosphere, going into this, like, mecha battle.
So cool.
Fucking awesome. Bruce being like, that was the coolest fucking shit I've ever seen. I'm like,
Awesome.
those are happy moments. Those are good. And, like, seeing, like, James freak out over Smash Brothers when there's very anime-esque fight scenes.
It's because
like,
I was fucking KOing your ass into the sky.
I was talking about when we were watching the YouTube video, but way to bring that up,
yeah,
asshole.
douche.
That
Just trying to
dude
say
will
something nice
BKO.
about everybody.
Okay,
And
so
then there's Spool.
this next
He likes
discussion
Fate
topic.
Zero.
Fate
This
Zero's
next,
good.
next discussion topic is purely for me because it tingles my soul.
All right.
Ew.
But says,
Shigeru Miyamoto
Yep.
dropped the smackdown on basically the last 7 to 10 years of game development.
Burn.
oh,
His comments, to be paraphrased, basically said that story in games is bullshit and it doesn't amount to a better experience for the player.
Once again, paraphrasing.
Paraphrase. To direct quote, I quote,
shit too.
by the way, this is real journalism, motherfuckers. I quote, these younger game creators, they want to be recognized. They want to tell stories that will touch people's hearts. And while I understand that desire, the trend worries me. It should be the experience that is touching. What I strive for is to make the person playing the game the director. All I do is help them feel that. By playing, they're creating something that only they could create. Another quote. I quote, what the other companies are doing makes business sense, but it's boring. The same games appear on every system. At Nintendo, we want an environment where the game creators can collaborate and think of can think of ideas for games that could never happen before.
Oh my god. Wait, you're telling me that legendary game developer Shigeru Miyamoto has good ideas when it comes to games?
It's weird, right?
Oh my god.
So and this crashes down on a particular discussion that happened around Destiny lately, where everybody was saying it was terrible because it didn't have a story.
I don't think everyone was saying.
Oh, sorry.
I'll-
The most
sorry.
vocal opponents.
I
You're
only
right.
said
Sure.
it was terrible because it wasn't on PC.
And then there's Spool.
Right.
Still fun.
So
that.
what occurs to me is that we've come out of a phase. Thank God we've come out of a phase where narrative in game design was paramount. It's like our games are going to tell a story, and if it doesn't tell a story, it's worthless. Except that even during that phase, the games that were focused on gameplay and emergent game experiences were the most successful. So this is a particular pet peeve of mine because I love games that are focused on gameplay as opposed to cutscenes and the script that a game developer wrote that is not that good and is basically equivalent to a C movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
What aggravates me is that there is a whole slew of gamers that have come up in this age, and these are the only games they've played. So that's what they want, and that's what they like. But the numbers still show that, in large, the games that work are the ones that celebrate player experience and player immersion. And by that I mean, let me look up the top-selling games of all time.
Batman.
Well,
Duck Hunt.
I mean, on that point, I've always seen the best games are the sort of games where you can kind of craft your own story, where you craft your own narrative, where you are immersed, you are the player, it's your story. You can sit there and go like, oh my god, Last of Us is like the pinnacle of gaming because it told me a really good story. It's like, well, that's what movies do. That's what books do. Video games allow you to experience things. And The Last of Us, that's fun. The Last of Us actually, I feel like, did allow you to experience something very cool. It's very creepy, a survival horror. Like, that was good. But if you're going to sit there and be like, the game was great because of the cutscenes, it's like, well, you don't want that. That's not a real reason why you should love video games. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Whereas something like Skyrim or GTA or something like that, where like you can kind of just go off and do your own thing and craft your own story. Even things like DayZ, where it's like you become your own person. Like, that to me is what video games are really all about.
Or even like the first Walking Dead, you kind of, I mean, they have the stories already written, but you feel like you have the choices that you make in the first Walking Dead game that make it really awesome, in my opinion.
So let's take a data-driven approach and run down the top-selling games, and we'll stop when we hit a game that is narratively focused.
Go on.
Tetris,
Oh yeah, good story.
Wii Sports,
They're making a movie out of Tetris.
The Oregon Trail.
That has a
Kind of
story.
narrative.
It's
but you
emergent
have to create it
narrative.
yourself.
Yeah. Minecraft.
Damn it.
Fake stealth.
Stay stealth.
Super Mario Brothers, Mario Kart Wii, Grand Theft Auto 5. There is a narrative. That's not
Sure,
what people
yeah,
wait
yeah.
for. Wii Sports Resort, New Super Mario Brothers, Wii Play, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Yet again, there is a narrative. That's not why people
Sure,
play it.
yeah.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. There's a campaign, but people play it for the multiplayer, which has no narrative.
Yep.
Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Grand Theft Auto 4. Again, no narrative.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Black
here.
Ops 2, Connect
Listen, if you're trying
Adventures.
to convince me that Last of Us sucks, you don't need to worry about it.
Oh no, I got some more
Doesn't
ammunition.
suck.
Nintendogs, Pokemon, Mario Kart, Pokemon, Wii Fit, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Wii Fit
Pokemon
Plus.
has a story.
Ish.
It's that generic number one needs to accomplish generic goal number two.
There you go.
That's the story.
But I guess the gameplay is probably what sells Pokemon.
Super Mario World, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, The Sims 2, Skyrim, which has a narrative, but nobody followed
Wait,
it.
Skyrim is one of the top-selling games of all time.
Number 28.
Holy shit!
Oh, yeah.
Battlefield 3, Brain Age, Call of Duty Ghosts, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Bros. 3, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, The Sims, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Modern Warfare 1, World at War, Call of Duty 5, basically. Pokemon Black and White, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Diablo 3.
Oh,
So, out of the
Bingo.
top 41 top-selling games of all time, none of them were narratively focused. And yet, there are people who say that narrative is the most important thing when it comes to game design.
are there people who say it's the most important
Oh, yes.
thing? Really?
Oh my, yes.
Wow.
Oh my.
Those are strange
Definitely a
individuals.
hard number 2 on a lot of games. But yeah.
I know. I mean,
I wouldn't say
maybe-
it's even a number 2.
Yeah,
I
I
would
don't
say
care.
it's the last most important thing.
Well, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if you would count it as graphics, but the amount that it looks like real life is probably the last important thing, because style always trumps realism every
Yeah.
single day
Agreed.
in video games, at least.
But how about you
I
guys?
keep,
How do you
I
feel
keep going
about
back to immersion. It's not so much that it's like I always say the gameplay's fun, but for me that equates to immersion, because the more I can get lost into a game and I don't feel like, if I press a button and it takes 2.5 seconds for that to register, I have lost all immersion. So yeah, I mean that is my sort of thing. And all those games to me kind of have that common thread that it's like you're immersed in this world, and that to me always trumps story, because
Right there.
the mind is creative and you will find your own story. You will create your own story.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own. No one plays the game the same way twice, which is actually one of the things why I love video games. It's like everyone, like that water cooler talk. Like I love the fact that like you can kind of stand around and be like, "What did you do on that mission?" "Oh, I did this." "Well, I did this," and it's like that's cool. You formed your own narrative. Congratulations.
Yeah, which is why, like, I go back to the Walking Dead game again, but it's nice how at the end of a chapter it tells you, like, 67% of people went this way versus you who went 32% the other way, and, like, I thought that was kind of interesting in showing, like...
Well, they gamified a narrative.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing about the Walking Dead game, is that presents itself as an interactive story. That's the game. The game is be an interactive
choose your own
story.
adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it works. It's when the game presents itself as a game, but what it is actually is
not.
an interactive story.
Yep.
That's when I, as a player, start to get frustrated. So
And when the interactive
realize
story has
that-
aggravating interludes where you have to crouch behind waist-high cover and shoot clickers that
It's 'cause-
sprint at you from the
and
side of the
everything
camera
that
where you
happens
can't
in
see
the
it.
game that actually matters is not something that you have anything to do
Yeah,
with.
you realize in the end that the same outcome's going to happen no
In-
matter what you
which
do.
it does still in the Telltale games, but the difference is you determined how you get there
Yeah.
and the kind of person you are when you reach that location. Whereas if you play, say, The Last of Us, for example, and you walk through the game, and every single time you're just like kind of doing a stealth mission, you turn around and you take 3 shots at Ellie in the head, doesn't affect how much you're gonna love her at the end of the game. Like, it doesn't matter. But you can't do that in the Telltale game because they know it's a narrative.
So
Like,
I think the thing people often forget is that we're still in the infancy of game development. It's still very early. It's still very new. And we're not at that point yet where we're going to hit that sort of Citizen Kane moment. A lot of people are like, Bioshock. Bioshock was the Citizen Kane of video games. It's like,
No, it wasn't.
you can say that for now, but like,
I got a
bigger.
bombshell for you.
Go on.
Donkey Kong was the Citizen Kane of video games.
Sure,
Pac-Man was the Citizen Kane of video game.
Take-
the
whatever.
Citizen Kane of any medium is when a work completely inhabits the strengths of that medium. And that happened 30 fucking years ago. Sorry, I'm getting passionate.
No, it's fine. And I think that's the thing is like, I guess my only advice going out on this topic is don't look at anything that has released right now as the pinnacle of anything. Like people look at so many things like this is the pinnacle of storytelling, this is the pinnacle of graphics. Well, I was like, no. This is actually the big reason why I love game development is every 5 years, fucking even 1 year, looking at GTA, like graphically and even from an immersion aspect, the game has already changed so much. We went from kind of low fidelity and third person to first person and high fidelity. And this is just a very small example of where everything's going to go. Look at things like Oculus Rift and many other technologies basically coming up. Like pretty soon, we're going to be trapped in these worlds, and that's what excites me. When you can put on the VR helmet or whatever it ends up being.
Hell yeah.
Whatever.
Get me out of here!
I'm trapped.
No, that's the stuff that sort of excites me. I mean, and obviously it's going to, some people will OD on this sort of stuff. We're getting like really far out there. But the idea where it's like, right now, video games are at this point where your imagination takes over. I'm really excited for the time when your imagination doesn't have to. And you just feel and experience all these things. And if I want to go to this magical fairy tale land, I can just go there.
what about Anime Boob World?
You can go there, James.
It's a dream.
No, that's fake. Totally fake. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying, regardless, it's going to go there
Cops are
eventually.
on the way.
The stuff we're seeing right now, these are baby steps. This is very early. So for people to get their panties in a bunch over like 1080p and all these other things, like these are very minor things. Like give it 10 years, it's going to be nuts. It's going to get crazy.
Also, with the advent and the onset of free-to-play games and these MMOs and these giant world games, which are all about player interaction, you can say goodbye to your precious narrative games because
MMOs
they're
have
going to
narratives.
No, they
disappear.
don't. Give me a
No,
fucking
I don't
break.
think they'll disappear. So I think this is the crux of this conversation, which is that narrative-based games are a form of the medium,
towards the cops.
and it's not a bad form. And if
No.
you like it, it's fine. You're allowed to like it. Like, I'm not saying that it's bad or flawed or that you shouldn't like it. It's just that it's not the future of the medium, and that even describing anything of the future of the medium is stupid. Like, think about it in terms of painting or music. Why would you say say you're around in like the late 70s? Why would you say rap is the future of music? It's stupid. It's an art form that's been around for
It's very
thousands of
narrow-minded.
years. Exactly.
Yeah.
So to say that narrative-based games are the future of gaming is very narrow. It's artificially narrow.
Yeah.
It's fine to say
I'm
I
gonna
like
say,
narrative-based games, but it's stupid to say that it's the evolution of the medium.
No, and I've seen signs of it, and I mean, this is just me speaking. I'm not saying this is definitively a moment where narrative and gameplay mix perfectly and that everyone should love this, but I always point to Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I'm going to spoil this because the game's been out for like 25 years, but like
I think it was just 10 years.
maybe
like the other day.
It just actually, yeah, no, it just hit 10 years. There's a moment at the very. I'm giving you an out right now. If you haven't played Snake Eater, leave now.
Don't leave.
I don't want to spoil it. Well, don't
Just
leave.
mute it.
Shut your ears for the next 2
Yeah,
minutes.
just mute it and then walk away from your computer. Give us that sweet. watch time.
There's an amazing moment in that game. That's when I walked away and so just giving you a little context. Metal Gear Solid 1 was like my favorite game of all time, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 blew it away. When there's this moment where they build up, there's a big sort of twist where the boss, this female woman who you've been hunting the whole time, reveals that she's actually been in on it the whole time, and she's going to go down as a martyr. And then there's this moment where you got to fight. She's basically like saying, "You got to kill me." It has been set up that you, Big Boss, clone of Snake, or I'm sorry, Snake
the
will become the
original
clone of whatever.
Yeah.
You got to kill me. You got to take me out. You have no choice. And so you're put in this situation where you got to fight her. She's going to fight you until you kill her. And she's laying on the ground, and the camera's panning out, and you're holding a gun to her. You're holding her gun to her, and you're laying there, and the camera's panning out, and then it just stops. And you're sitting there waiting because it's a cutscene. You're like, nothing's happening. Like, what's happening? The entire time you've been pressing R1 in circle to shoot a gun. And you realize, oh, fuck, I gotta fire the gun. And you're just sitting there waiting like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And the game will not progress until you do it. So you gotta press circle, and it just cuts. But you hear the gunshot. And that you as the player put the bullet in her brain. I'm not saying that's the pinnacle of like game development of story, like the perfect evolution, but I was like, that was a sign where it's like, this is a cool thing. I like where this is going. This is exciting. I like this. It was a one-time thing. If someone else did it, I would have been like, okay, well, you're just copying Snake Eater.
That was BioShock.
Sure. Or, yeah, BioShock did it too,
Yeah.
whatever. Regardless, I was like, this is a cool thing people are doing. That's fun.
And Spec Ops.
It made you feel something. I was like, that's neat. That's cool. So that for me right there was like a cool moment, but that's just one of those stepping stones. Getting to the point where we will get to full immersion. We're not there yet, but that was a fun moment. That was really cool. Using the tech that they had at the time, 10 years ago.
Well, you can use the tech we have now to get a free sampler from NatureBox. So
Getting good at
NatureBox, this is a subscription service. Yeah, it's a very heady topic, and then we're going into snacks.
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Well, I just know the comments are going to be mad at me for this, but duty calls. NatureBox is a subscription service that will send you all natural snacks every month, and you can choose the snacks you want. Basically, you go to their website, you fill out a profile if you want about the kinds of snacks you want: salty, not salty, fatty, crunchy, chewy, and then they'll kind of use those parameters to filter out a box for you. They'll pick 5 snacks to send to you. But don't take our word for it. Get a free sampler box from NatureBox today. It's actually not free, as many aggravated commenters pointed out to us. You have to pay for shipping. So if you can find it within yourself to pay a couple of bucks for shipping, you can get a sampler pack with the 5 most popular snacks from NatureBox by going to naturebox.com/inside. That's naturebox.com/INSIDE. So get free food. Ish. Air quotes free. $3 of free food today.
Can we get NatureBox up in this office? Because I've been getting hungry throughout the day.
Yeah, we need NatureBox.
Yeah, ever
And
since they sent
so-
us like a care package, and these guys have been addicted to the idea
So
ever since.
our company does snacks in the morning. We have like a bevy of like morning snacks.
Bevy?
They're gone within like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Can we get our own personal stash of nature bugs?
It's also funny because we have a sign on the
Yeah.
on the
A guild
thing that
sign.
gives you drinks that say like drink water. Water is good for you. There's 2 signs, and then the entire refrigerator is just filled with sugar drinks. Coca stuff.
So yeah, naturebox.com/inside. INSIDE, thank you, NatureBox, for sponsoring the Inside Gaming Podcast.
Thank you very much.
How do I shoot him?
We are big fans.
Yeah, I am. Gosh, whenever a NatureBox appears on our doorstep, it means that I don't have to cook for like a week. It's delightful.
He just eats nuts for the entire week. Yeah.
Ow.
It's like a
All right,
squirrel.
let's look at some fan art.
We'll just drive
Let's
up
do
next
it.
to it.
Oh my god.
How do
It
I
just says drive up
What the
next
hell
to it
is
and knock it
that?
off.
What fan art is that?
That is.
What happened there?
My God.
That's
Is
the
my name
Avengers.
Pokey? What's happening here?
Adam's head gun.
I
Oh, sorry.
Eve Nestrongs. I think I'm Galactus here. And I'm shooting some kind of square out of my chest.
Yeah,
someone's
that
a
kind of makes
koala.
sense.
That's Spool?
There's a lot
Spool
of stuff
smoking
going
on a
Someone's
giant
Iron
joint.
Man?
He's Iron Man.
Oh,
think.
wait.
Game over.
Thank you, Mr. Morales from
Thank you.
Reddit.
That's
You've done a weird thing, but we
Oh.
appreciate it.
Oh, this thing.
And then Not Noah did a caricature of Bruce.
There's a video of him drawing this as well. on
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah?
Yeah.
Speed run.
It's a speed drawing. I watched it. It scared the hell out of me.
Kill him. You gotta kill the rival.
Follow paparazzi.
wait. Oh,
You went the wrong way.
I'll just say that, like, Bruce's caricature is more flattering than James's was.
Really?
I think so.
I don't know about that one.
Well, he took a somewhat normal picture of you and he made it horrifying. He took one of the worst pictures I've ever seen of myself and he made it horrifying.
Catastrophic.
So
yeah.
I started from -3 and you at least started from 0.
Oh, man.
It's fair enough. Reddit user Flashpoint4, or IV, drew the Inside Gaming Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. It's so cool.
I just like the expressions. Like, the expressions make this picture. Adam's impassiveness, Bruce's unmitigated glee,
Oh, yeah. There. Look at that.
James's crazy abs.
Wait.
And Lawrence's
I think my ability to
seriousness.
kick myself in the forehead, yeah. Oh, I love
Try
this
so
picture.
hard though.
That axe kick is awesome.
Oh, man. And then Sandra, now that's a Sandra, illustrated the poor Bruce refugee from the Beaver genocide.
I imagine
I like-
imagine him being like lunch at noon, right, guys? But he shows up at 12:05, and
Everybody's
this is
dead.
what he
Everyone's
sees.
gone.
Beaver Bruce is my new favorite.
And yet again, the mustache is not connected in the middle, as is
So you
requisite.
know.
Mr. Drone Probe over at DeviantArt drew little heads of Bruce, James, and Adam.
Well,
I feel like these
I like
should be like
James's.
James's mouth is
little
weird.
squishy balls.
Yeah,
If
James-
Yeah.
you can squish them, you get rid of your stress.
Bruce is yelling.
He looks happy.
Adam is perennially disappointed.
I'm always. That's just my rested bitch
You're a
face.
little frowny. A little frowny.
You
It
guys,
really is.
that's just what I look like. I'm
That's all.
sorry. My natural smile is a frown.
You don't have to apologize for your chronic disappointment and everybody around you. Reddit user Deep Hazard illustrated us in the style of Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
Nice.
okay. So
I'm on the
I
very
have
far
a little bit
left.
of facial hair.
Yeah, you're on the far right.
Yeah.
And then Adam's
It's
in
the
the middle.
zombie apocalypse when you would
Yeah,
have facial hair.
It's several weeks in, I guess.
And then Bruce on the left.
Yep, on the left.
And Adam's in the middle.
Yep.
It just occurred to me that you have the Machinima Man dildo right there.
Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't notice.
It's draped across the
Cool.
zombie shoulder there.
That's how you concuss their skulls.
And you're the only one with a distinctive shirt.
Yeah, the shirt. I
Oh, the
guess
gorilla shirt,
is
yeah,
kind of
there
the
it is.
giveaway.
They really should have drawn the taco. Reddit user Chromosotic drew you guys as Jaeger pilots.
Oh, I was gonna
Yes.
say, are we Titanfall pilots or Jaeger pilots?
No, Jaeger.
That's
So
awesome.
we have to go like this.
Not that kind of Jaeger.
Together. You gotta do it together.
Wait, what kind of? Oh,
Pacific
attack on-
Rim.
Yeah, no, that's what you were
Yeah.
saying. Pacific
Yeah.
Rim. We all have to sync up.
Not Aaron
Exactly.
Yeager.
It's a tri-Jaeger. Wait, tri-pilot.
There is the one, the Chinese one.
Oh, that's right.
I made
The
a
triplets.
I made a comment in the subreddit about that. I said, "Are we replacing the triplets?"
Uh-huh.
Spoiler.
And everyone was like, ha 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 ha.
They
That's
all
not that
laughed.
dumb.
They said,
laughed.
"You're the greatest.
They laughed.
Be my
I haven't
best
seen that
friend."
45 minutes. No, they didn't say that.
This next one looked good.
Scherzo Dinot.
All the different beautiful versions of Adam.
They're all Adams, right?
Yeah.
They
Are
are
they?
all
Yeah,
Adam.
they're all
I
you.
hope so.
Well, you know,
I know Adam though should have just been Adam normal.
I like Care Bear Adam.
way to go.
I like the
about
Hello
Badger
Kitty
Adam?
Batman Adam, who has a 5 o'clock shadow and is also disinterested in everything going on around him.
I'm not disinterested. It's just my face.
There's also Badger Adam too. I don't know if you guys saw
Yeah.
Badger Adam.
Oh, that's not really me though. It's just a badger.
No, I think it's Badger Adam. You see his eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's completely apropos given that you have a onesie Pikachu outfit now.
I do.
that's
Thank you, Yoda the Hobbit, who dropped by our office.
So much.
He was going to a screening of what was it, The New Girl?
No,
Girl Meets
Girl Meets
World.
World.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Reddit user Wintosley
There it
Kenzie
is. This is it. This is for
through
you.
the James. This is what you asked for.
Yes.
By request. Thank you
Our
very much.
fan base delivered within 1 week.
Joel's the mom. That's my favorite part of this.
Nanny. You said that in the subreddit.
Joel's the
nanny
mom.
is the term.
Joel's the
I just
mom.
don't know
Joel
why.
is nanny.
Why am I Miss Piggy?
What?
Don't ask
That's what I
questions.
wanna know.
Don't
Why
ask
am I
questions.
Miss Piggy?
Don't ask questions.
Just be happy you
do
got
your
something.
Miss Piggy voice.
I don't got one.
No, that's
pretty
not too
good.
bad.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
that wasn't too bad.
Fuck you,
boy.
Kermit.
Whoa,
Wow.
easy.
She
She
never
loves
s-
Kermit.
Yeah.
I love you, Kermit.
Yeah,
She calls him Frog.
And Kermit.
Next one. Next one.
Yeah, Frog.
Reddit user Epikito drew the best,
Oh yeah, this is the terrible drawing.
best doodles I've ever seen.
Aw.
No, he's tweeted me. He's like, these are bad.
Yeah, he was like, these are my shitty shit drawings.
Yeah.
We
Aw.
got James's taco shirt. Thank God.
Oh yeah, that well-known
taco shirt.
taco shirt. Make it or break it. You know.
What's Bruce's shirt?
I killed your dog.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. Sure.
I love- that's
am
also-
cancer.
I love that shirt. I wear it all the
I am
time.
cancer.
Wait, what's going on with me?
You live to suffer.
Why am I bigger than James? That makes no sense.
Man, you're huge. Look
Also,
at
I
those
think your
arms.
nipples are on the outside of
That's
your shirt.
a strong neck.
Yeah.
You can hold an
It's a strong
entire chest on
everything.
your head.
Gosh. And then Reddit user
Wow.
Lucas
Bruce, what's Bruce chewing on?
Olive.
I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out for a long
What
time.
is that?
Is it a pillow?
Yeah. What am I chewing on there?
Laptop?
Yeah, that's what
What
I
are the
thought.
things? What are the things in the game? There's a flashlight. There's the suit.
I
Cameras.
think it's a tablet that you're looking at the cameras on.
Yeah, it must be the monitor. For
Oh, okay,
the
all right.
security
Man.
camera.
I'm really trying to figure that one out.
And Adam's just bearing it. Just straight bearing it. Miss Emiliano or 5 drew James's death glare.
Ooh.
I'm watching you.
Wait, when is that? Do I normally have it?
That's your
there?
catchphrase. That's what you say. You
I'm
say, make it or
watching
break
you.
it. I'm watching you.
And I go, taco shirt.
Yep, taco shirt. And then that's in there too for some reason.
The M, in the U, there's the machinima.
Yeah, there's the Machinima M right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't even notice that. Details.
Oh,
Chris
the Joel
Young
father.
Wait, I didn't
23?
see this.
drew the Joel father.
You know, Joel actually is Italian. He's Cosa Nostra. Did you know that?
No, he's Jewish.
Oh, he's Jewish. That's what I mean.
He's Jusha Nostra.
Jewish Nostra. That's
Jewish
the
and
one.
Nostra, that's what they call it.
Good stuff, guys.
What
The
the
official
hell?
Mr. Me drew
Wait. Oh, another Attack on Titan.
potentially the best Attack on Titan
Oh,
fan
are we
art we've ever
Titans?
seen.
Cool.
I like
Shirtless dudes.
I like Bruce with the cat eyes.
By the way, they made sure to label James because we weren't sure.
Because I look like a monstrous old man.
Well, you are a Titan after all. So.
Am I Aaron Yeager? Please tell me I'm Aaron.
Please
No.
note that we are all boring regular Titans
Yeah,
and
that's true.
not exciting super Titans.
Not colossal
True.
Titans.
Except Joel. I think Joel's just really far away, and he's the colossal titan.
Well, he
Maybe.
shouldn't have any skin though.
Oh, look at his little hands.
Yeah.
So he just has really long
His droopy
legs.
little boobs. Aw.
Oh man.
And then my favorite fan art of the week.
So good.
the Ghost 000
Whoa.
So awesome.
God damn it.
So
I
the
wish
thing
I looked
that I love
cool.
the most about this fan art is that he nailed all of our personality archetypes with our various classes.
Yeah.
So Bruce is the Berserker.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Adam is the Knight. James is the Paladin. Joel is the Archer. Spool is the Rogue, and I'm the
Yeah.
Wizard. It's basically capitalizing on all of our stats, our main
So
stats.
cool.
It's
That's
great.
so cool. So
Oh.
good.
Have you ever played Guardian Heroes
Is there?
Yeah.
for Sega
Did
Saturn? If you look at that image and just let the Guardian Heroes theme play beneath
Did-
it works up.
Oh,
Did
it's
he
beautiful.
say if he's working on a colored version?
I thought he
of
was.
it?
I thought he said he was coloring it. I'm not sure though. I could be
Because
wrong.
that'd be
You know
even
what?
more epic.
Don't bother coloring it. Just go ahead and draw an entire comic book.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
And
Oh
release
man,
it.
that's my favorite. And then we've got a few. We got a few animateds here. Clegend. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. At any rate, he animated our first 10 episodes.
Oh, that's right. Oh
And
man, this was a blast from the past.
Perhaps my favorite part of this is just Bruce humping at the title screen. He's so happy.
I have one critique for this. One critique.
Uh-oh.
Too much smiling.
but we're all
yes.
smiley guys.
We were smiling
That
during
bad.
that gameplay.
We just went
We
from
were
me
all-
being the saddest curmudgeon in the office to we're all smiley guys.
Well, you should appreciate that.
Yeah, we were all very happy
No,
during that gameplay.
I appreciate it, but I mean, like this guy when he was like, "Please
Yeah.
kill me, Blade." I guarantee you, he was not smiling while this was
That's
happening.
the joke.
I'm stuck in the pipe.
Believe me, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Oh, so good.
Thank you.
Oh man,
And then this one kind of slipped through the cracks. So apologies, Moist Mong. But here we've got the combat roll from Heavy Fire Afghanistan.
wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
This one's great. This
and-
one's
Oh, yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
I remember this one.
He animated the training montage, the terrorists
Holy
who
shit.
just really wanted to roll.
Yes.
That's really good.
So good.
You got to roll. That's my favorite.
I know Moist Mong. I've played video games with Moist
He's like,
Mong.
you-
Yes.
The crowd.
Oh, in the rain.
Yeah, the
training in the rain.
The crowd sees him. Remember this? This is great. I love this one.
So good.
Doing sweet.
How are there so many people that are infinitely more talented than us
I know.
doing these things?
Well, we're not that talented.
Well, yeah, I know. But they're
That's
extremely
how.
talented.
No, they're true. I know, and we need more of them.
Quit being such a grump.
Sorry. It's just how I am. I'm coming down.
Just my face.
We did.
I need to play more Smash Brothers so I can drink.
I know. We need to keep drinking.
Oh man.
Well, before you keep drinking, perhaps have a healthy snack from Nature Box.
Yeah.
This is a final reminder that this podcast is sponsored by Nature Box. If you would like, you can get a sampler pack of their 5 most popular snacks by going to naturebox.com/inside. That's naturebox.com/INSIDE. NatureBox is a subscription service that will send you wholesome snacks every month to your door.
They've had the most popular one is the Chubble Babies. Have you had the
Chubble
Chubble
Ooh,
Babies?
Chubble Babies.
Oh,
They're
no.
really
I
good.
like the bright colors.
Chubble
They're
Babies.
really good.
You can get Chubble Babies by going to naturebox.com/inside. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast, NatureBox.
Have you tried the Chumbawambas?
No.
They're
Oh,
really
the
good, but you
Chumbawambas.
can only have them once.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. After that,
They'll
you're tired of it.
they're,
He gets very old very
Very
fast.
insignificant.
They'll get back up again.
And just like Chumbawamba, it seems we've run out of time
Oh.
for another album or Adam's finger spacing story.
Nope.
Wait,
We'll get 'em
album?
next time.
Yep.
Too much
We
time.
go drink some water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I gotta pee.
I keep telling you guys, the finger spacing story is not that good.
No, it'll pay off.
It'll pay off.
definitely-
I doubt it. I mean,
gotta-
it's going to end up being the Kickstarter goal, and you're all going to be disappointed
You
in
just
what you
gotta
get.
exaggerate a little bit with it.
Oh.
God damn it, I love
That's the
this
most
game.
depressing way to end this podcast.
You see the haters going to hate.
Oh yeah. Look at that. All right. Bye, bros.
Goodbye, everybody.
guys.
Miss
Thank
you.
Yeah, thank you for listening and or watching. Sprinting didn't make a lot of sense in Halo 4, the way it was implemented. The way they're using it in 5 makes a lot more sense. Your shields will not recharge if you're sprinting. So now the game is forcing you to slow down. I don't think he's going to see himself as a human anymore. He's going to see himself as the next step. And so I think he's going to partner up with Arbiter, and they're going to essentially try to wipe out humanity. I think through some weird way, Chief's going to try to activate the Halo rings and just kill everybody.
A Twitch shooter is viable. I mean, Call of Duty now is just like such a fast-paced, maniacal game, but people still play it at a really high level, and like the players that stand out are those who have like the quickest reactions and can like kind of process macro level gameplay really well in terms of like rotations and choking spawn points and all this stuff.